Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. We're hanging out in a snapshot today just to kick off the stream. We won't be here long, I don't think. We're going to be in creative mode, but there is a tweet out there that you can share. And of course, this is the website for the latest snapshot, which is 23W43A. There are experimental features that I have enabled in this creative world, and they include the copper family of blocks, the new tuff blocks, the copper bulb. There is a new bat model, and the rest of them are technical changes. So we're just going to play around and just kind of take a look at the textures. That's all I really wanted to do to kick things off. Right away, I'm noticing that I feel like my my default texture pack is lighter somehow, but it shouldn't be. So like, I think it's just that weird, like I normally play with sodium and all the different fabric boosters and things, and it's just kind of the way things are. For anybody that wants to know, out of curiosity, this is the seed if you want it, because this is an epic setup. There's a huge mountain right here. We're in a small plains biome, but then there's a jungle just over there. But then if you go this way, there's a savanna and a badlands and a jungle, like all within spitting distance. So there's the badlands, there's the savanna, there's the jungle, plus the mountain. So like, if I don't know, if somebody wanted to play in this area, it's also like an extreme badlands in places. Like it's wild with all this stuff nearby. So I thought if folks wanted that, I'll throw that up again in case people want to see what's up. There it is there. Screenshot. Anyway, we're just going to pop into creative mode, and well, I mean, we're in it now, but we're going to mess around with some of the new blocks just to kind of see. Let's just, I guess, build right here. So if we go in here and we look at tuff, do I not have any sound effects? No, I do. We're good. So we've got, that's the normal tuff block. Stairs and slabs and walls in regular tuff. We didn't see those in the snapshot. There's chiseled tuff, polished, stairs in those varieties. And then there's a whole family of bricks as well. Now these ones, I'm not sure if they're going to work the way that we hope they're going to work. So I'm just going to put down like a palette of this stuff so we can pick block it from it when we need to. Yeah, those are odd looking. They're very green. Very, very green. Did that not work? Yes, it did. Interesting. So right away, the first thing I want to try is I want to get some stone. Stone bricks. Mossy stone bricks. Maybe some mossy cobble. Some stone. You know that goes there. Really got an interesting noise too. That's cool. Yeah, so they don't line up. They don't line up the grout lines. That's what I thought was going to happen. You'll notice if you look at the grout lines, they're on the bottom and then in the middle on the bricks. And then here on the tuff bricks, they're on the top. right? So lines on the bottom, lines on the top. So when you put them together, you get a double grout line. And then when you line them up this way, they're off by a pixel. So I really hope they fix that. Like if I was to give some immediate feedback, I don't really dislike the texture. It's a bit cartoony as Pixariffs and I were talking about on the show on the Spawn Chunks podcast. It's a little bit on that cartoony side. And so it doesn't really go with a lot. Are these directional? No. We either got one. We didn't see that in the presentation. We only saw this one. I don't even think this one. I think that one's changed again since the presentation. I think the presentation it only had the squiggle on the bottom. I don't remember it having the squiggle on the top and the bottom. I mean, they don't even line up with each other. Which, I mean, like they wouldn't. Actually, yeah, look. The grout line on this one is at the bottom. And then the grout line on its own family member is at the top. Yeah, that's not good. The fact that they're beveled is cool. Yeah, you're right. That is neat. I just feel like they're a little cartoony. They have more of a 3D shape. Like this small face here in the middle of the brick looks like it's coming out towards you more. There's definitely a bigger shadow. The bee obviously stands out quite well against the bluey gray. I mean, they do stand out. This little bit of gray here does seem to work well. Probably just turn off the day-night cycle. Oops. Yeah, so it's I like these. They're cool looking, but I don't know about the. See, these are not as cartoony. They're not as harsh as the bricks. Like that seems to work a lot better and feel like it's part of the Minecraft kind of world. I think they could maybe lighten the grout lines, and I definitely think they need to rotate them. They need to slide the texture so that it lines up with other bricks. What are other blocks that have? This is these ones here. Yeah, same thing, right? The grout lines on these are on the edges, so they line up with these ones, right? If I wanted andesite. See, that lines up. That makes sense. And of course, tough stairs and slabs are great. Tough walls look good. I actually really like the this one. It probably looks pretty good if you wanted to do a wall comparison. Let's just grab all the normal ones. Polished deep slate. Now there's a tough wall. There's a tough brick wall too. I guess I probably shouldn't put them next to each other. what goes next? I guess the tuff, that sort of goes in that spot. And then yeah, I think that's darker. And then you get into this one. That one, and then there's of course, actually that goes there, this goes there, and then I think there's like a tile wall. So again, this is really harsh and doesn't line up with the right kind of grout lines. So if you had this trying to match with another wall, again, it doesn't go. Does that work here? Yeah, I mean, those don't line up, but you wouldn't expect those to line up either. I imagine deep slate brick does, though. I forgot. Right, so that doesn't line up there, but it does line up with that one, right? The tops of those blocks are great. Tops of which blocks? Ooh, those are cool. Yeah, I didn't even notice that. That's cool. Again, it would be nice if these blocks were directional, like logs. It would be very nice if we could have that as a wall texture. I would love that as a wall texture. What do the bottoms look like? Probably the same. Yeah. So you got a ceiling texture. That's very cool. I quite like it. Almost looks like a relief. I know it's meant to be like an it's meant to be convex, but it almost looks concave. Here it looks like you're stepping on like something that would protrude, and then here it looks like it's like going up into like a divoted ceiling or something. Stone chocolate bar? Yeah, I guess if you thought that dark oak trapdoors look like chocolate bars, then these definitely look like a stone chocolate bar. What do the tops of these look like? They're just a swirly thing? Yeah. Not as exciting. I don't find the shulker box pattern like that very usable either. Yeah. So I don't mind the chiseled variants. What are these? These are chiseled tuff bricks, chiseled tuff, tuff bricks, tuff brick wall, and polished tuff is the other thing. I like the polished tuff. I like the polished tuff. This kind of thing probably looks pretty good with a soul lantern on it, I would imagine. Very blue. Kind of runs the gambit. Yeah, that's I do hope that they fix the grout lines on the tuff. I feel like they need to dial back the tuff bricks to be in line more with what the bricks we already have. I think there's an expectation from players when you say bricks, what you are going to be able to get, and then what you're going to be able to use with it. That looks okay. It doesn't almost feel like it doesn't feel like it goes very well. I feel like we'd be better off using it in other contexts. So like if I take this wall, something I do a lot in Westhill is using things like andesite blocks, you know, to kind of spruce things up there, but you could do the same thing here. It's a weird noise. But that works pretty well. Right? I mean, like that adds a little bit of interesting, almost adds a little bit of color. Like it's almost, it's like a gray teal almost. Yeah. Neat. It's a little bit busy with both, but if you had a smooth wall, that would look pretty cool. Anyway, I don't want to spend all day with the tough blocks, but they are what I expected them. These are a nice surprise. I didn't realize there was going to be tops and bottoms. These are just very specific. They're cool, but I don't know how often you're going to be able to use them. And then, I mean, the polished variants are cool. I like the wall. Having this as another wall is a cool option too. I feel like in situations where you've got a lot of tough, this might be too bright, so this might be a nice mix. Same thing, it probably looks really good with a lantern on it. Yeah, this just looks really strange. I think it's because we generally read these dark parts as shadow, and if they were on the top of an object like this, they wouldn't be in shadow, right? They would be there, but on their own, I think it's better to have the shadow on the bottom of the individual block. You can see all of these. The darkest lines are on the bottom, right? I mean, this one is on the top, but... Oh, that's the wrong thing. Oh, I messed up. I didn't notice that about tiles. The tiles get the same thing. That's probably because they've got multiple. There's 4 layers or 3.5 layers here. And one of them is smaller than the other. But all of the other walls that have any kind of bottom to it, the dark parts on the bottom. And with the tough, like I've often wanted a polished andesite wall, but we don't have one. And this is the closest we've got right now. So it's not 100% there, of course, but it's not bad. Actually, those probably look pretty good together now that I think about it. Yeah. Very doable. All right, let's switch to copper. And this is going to be a ton of stuff. So we've got the new chiseled one. I guess we have to go with all 4 of these. This is where it gets really nutty. These are waxed copper bulbs. Oh, wow. The off texture on the copper bulbs is really interesting. I didn't notice that before. Cool noises. So we've got waxed copper bulb. I'm okay with just, I guess they're going to probably change their oxidation, but. Interesting. They have like a little, there's a little redstone thing that's in there temporarily. to indicate when it's received a signal. Huh. Actually, I guess I can probably... There we go. I think I like the two extremes. Obviously, this is not as bright, but I think that would look really good in your, you know, ocean monument builds. Like, imagine if we grab some prismarine. It'd probably look okay. Even just as a block on their own. You know, like if you wanted to use them in some sort of other context. And of course, with other copper blocks, they would look good too. It is odd always having to have a button on you, I guess. I mean, obviously those work quite well together. That's cool. I wonder, might be able to get away with some glazed terracotta. Don't know if these are going to line up or not. They're not quite orange enough. I mean, if you wanted to light your floor, they sort of blend in. They're not quite there. Well, that's a color that works. What if... I want that one. Nope. Thought it worked. Maybe it only works when it's lit. Oh, there's a new chisel block, isn't there? That's not the full oxidized one. That's kind of cool. There's definitely some possibilities there. Old player coming in with a party of 11. Thanks ever so much for the raid. Welcome in. Good to see you again. We're just scoping out the new snapshot. Messing around with some copper blocks. These are really fun. I wonder if we can work with glass with those. My guess would be cyan. Ooh, maybe not. That works better. They have great noises. It sounds like they go up in sound. Yeah, there's a couple different versions. Not sure if you guys can hear that. Actually, the slightly oxidized one might go better with the cyan glass. And this might go better with pink. Maybe. Not bad. It's definitely got some green in it, but like if you had some, I don't know. Let's just put down pink glass. And then this maybe in front of it. Whoops. And let's grab a new block. And let's do, it's a good, maybe one of the new pillar blocks. I guess you'd have to go a little bit higher with the glass just to kind of cover up all that stuff. Hard to tell in just default Minecraft, but with some shaders and stuff, you'd probably look pretty good. What else? Magenta maybe? It might be a little bit too bright. I mean, you can mix and match, I guess. Maybe green, because of the green that's in the texture. Oh yeah, sort of highlights the little bits of green in the texture. Even better if you didn't have a broken texture, like if you had a connected glass texture. Blooky Beat, you like the copper placing sound? Yeah, it's really neat, right? By the way, folks, if you didn't know, I do a podcast with Pixarus called The Spawn Chunks for folks just coming in. And we talked about the crafter this week, but we talked about all the stuff in the snapshot, or not the snapshot, in the release in the Minecraft Live 2 weeks ago on the show. So the last couple of weeks and going into next week are going to be fantastic. If they keep on releasing more stuff from the snapshot, awesome. Finding the copper section of the creative inventory a bit busy now. That's a really good question. I don't know. I think it's fairly well organized. I don't think it's too much. It makes sense. I do like the trapdoors. Yeah, I mean, it's cool to have this kind of stuff, because if you do anything like copper stairs and slabs, and say if you had like a roof, something I end up doing a lot. Actually, let's bring that down. Right, so if you had a roof shape that was kind of like that, then you can now take these trapdoors. Give it a little bit of form. And then same thing here. If you wanted to put trapdoors there. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do both, but can help kind of bring stuff together. And of course, if you had a roof peak, then you could kind of make a little bit more of a gradual thing there. You know, with trapdoors, you can make all these kinds of shapes, which we've been able to do with wooden trapdoors forever. But to do it with copper, and then have all the different, you know, gradients of copper, where if you wanted to do some weathering, you know, if you wanted to come in with something like this. Oop, that didn't work. Mix it up a little bit. And they come, obviously the trapdoors have the same thing. So you could also grab one of those, right? They're a little busy behind the, with the opening in it. I think they probably look better. Yeah, you almost, geez, they almost disappear. Well, actually, if you look at that, it's the same texture. Yeah, it's the same texture, just has holes in it. I wouldn't mind if they made that different, because that really, it almost looks confusing. But with the new trapdoors, I think too, you could make them look like bridges. So like if you wanted to do, let's just do like a little hanging bridge here, right? Because they're metal, they sort of work better. Can I walk through here? Yeah, totally can. Well, it's a little tight, but possible. So if you're in like a factory, having something like this makes sense. And then maybe iron bars? Oh, there we go. Oh, I guess they connect there. That's kind of a pain. It would work if it was up against a wall, because then you wouldn't have this chain to worry about. You could walk down here pretty easily, and then you'd have this guardrail here too. Although, it doesn't exactly match. 0T666 with the Prime sub. Thanks ever so much. You're back. 7 months. Appreciate it. Whoops. Ruined my masterpiece. What else was there? Bats? Can you put bats on leads? He's got ears. You can't put them on leads. Come here, bat. Oh my gosh. They look better, but they don't stand still. Okay, We're going to have to create a bat enclosure. Actually, I guess I could make it smaller, couldn't I? Hard to see. They're cute. They definitely look more like bats. I love the big ears. It's a cool change. Kind of on par with other Minecraft animals. Use the new tick command and freeze time. You could probably take a closer look at the bat. Yeah, that's fair. There's a way to spawn in mobs too if you wanted to. And have them just kind of like have no AI. I don't remember what it is. Yeah, they do look like a mouse, which makes sense because that's what bats are, is essentially flying rodents, right? It's the one thing I think that's missing, and they don't do this for Minecraft models because the way that they model them is that it's got a very flat face. And I feel like one of the things that is very unique about a bat is usually they have like an upturned nose like this a lot of the time. And it's too bad that they don't have like a little pixel nose or something that sticks out the front. I think it looks a little bit weird, a little flat faced. But I mean, they're still pretty flat faced. Oh, you've come back. Yeah, I feel like I'd have to look at the other animation, but I feel like the flapping animation is better too. It could be just that the silhouette of the wings are better, but I feel like the flapping animation is more dramatic. It's more intentional. Whereas before they were kind of like flapping like hummingbirds. Yeah, it has like a timing to it. It's hard to explain without a visual, but essentially there's like a slow in and slow out. So it flaps down really quickly, but it comes up really like slower. So there's like a speed. There's like a. It's the flap is faster mid flap, and then it's slow at the bottoms. And you know, it's too bad that it turns direction so often because the flapping animation is really cool. But because it's just constantly flipping around, you can't really get a good look at it. It would be nice if they flew in a straight line for a bit, which I know bats don't usually do, but yeah, you can definitely see the timing on the flaps. Joel the animator approves. There's an updated crafter texture? No, we haven't gotten that far. The mouth is bigger? I'd have to look up the other snapshot to see. Uh, 42A? Do they have an image of it? They do not. I think we have one on the spawnchunks.com. We do. Show art from this week. So let me just see if I can line this up here. There's the two of them next to each other. Yeah, they've removed the bottom of it. It doesn't have a metal bottom anymore? Oh, did they remove the cool texture they had on the bottom? Oh, they gave it a new one. Huh. I think I like the old texture better. Oh. Yeah, they got rid of the bottom texture on it. Why is this not? How do you get it to rotate around? There's something buggy with the placement, or is it the way that is it the way that I'm facing? Yeah, that's weird. I would prefer it worked like a log. If I do that. Yeah, so it's the way that I'm facing. Well, that's inconsistent. How does this work? Yeah, I don't like that as much. They had a really cool texture. SweetSandi, thanks very much. Which sub did I miss? I got 0. Oh, Cosmic Dancer. Jeez. Right at the top. Cosmic Dancer. Thank you very much for the sub. Tier 3 for 63 months. We can almost collect old age pension. You also got carried away with the new blocks. Yeah, I don't think I like the new texture as much. It's higher contrast and it's less interesting. It looks more like a crafting table in that regard. I guess more so from the back. See, they line up, which is good. I feel like they changed that as well. That's actually quite a loud sound effect as well. Yeah, I think it had more personality with the other image. Yeah. Yeah, I think I like the older texture better. Rip, you agree? Yeah. What else do we have here in the snapshot? Let me just back up a second here. Put this back up. We looked at chiseled copper, copper grate, copper bulb, door, trapdoor. I mean, doors are doors. I don't think they're all that interesting. Copper slabs, stone cutter. We didn't need the stone cutter because we're in creative. Grates. I'm less worried about how to craft them. Although I did notice that the crafting recipe for the copper bulb involves, where is it? It's redstone dust, copper, and a blaze rod somewhere. Oxidizes. Light levels are 15, 12, 8, and 4. It toggles, we knew that. Comparatives will read a signal strength of 15 if the copper bulb's light is on. So it doesn't read the light level. It just reads a simple on-off. That's good to know. I thought it said changes. Nope. Could have sworn somewhere I saw it that had redstone. Tough. Yeah. All right. I think we've covered everything. That's cool. I just wanted to poke around, kind of see what was up. Took a closer look at the bat wings, and each of them actually has 2 segments rather than 1. Yes, yeah, they arc. Yeah, you can see that when they flap. More detail than you'd expect. Yep, I agree, Blukey. Yep, very cool. Using the blaze rod and the bulb is interesting. Blaze rods don't have much use beyond eyes and potions, meaning that rods stack up. Glad to see them getting more use. Yeah, we used blaze rods for our smelter. We haven't done any bamboo in the nether for our smelter fuel, and we haven't done a kelp farm. Well, I haven't. I think Alistair has a kelp farm in his area. But we were using the blaze farm that I had constructed for our fuel for the longest time. Hard to make bulb auto crafter because there's no source of copper in the nether. Oh, I see. I guess, yeah, you could send drown through a portal, or you could just send copper through a portal. Right? You could send the material through a portal. Yeah. Anyway, that's kind of a quick overview of the snapshot. I like most of the things. I think my big feedback moments are from the tough bricks. I think these are the weakest of the lot. I like the polished tough. I think these are also a little weak in terms of there's really only one use for these. The end texture is not great, and this is very specific. These are cool though, and I like that specifically the top and the bottom are just as strong a selling feature as the sides, but again, they're not directional. I wish they were. I wish they would treat them like columns. Yeah, good stuff. Folks, I'm going to take a short break, and during that time, I'm going to switch back over and play on the Citadel. So we're going to go back to playing 1.20.1 at the moment, and work on some more landscaping in Westhill. So hang on to your hats. We'll be back in about 5 or 6 minutes. I normally do this when I stream. I usually take nice little breaks on the hour. You should too. Give yourself a stretch, maybe refresh your coffee or your drink or whatever. And we'll be back in about 5 or 6 minutes. always a little bit tricky when you're going back and forth between snapshots and a different version of Minecraft. But here we are back on the Citadel server. Coming up on 3 years in Westhill, but it's been more than 6 on the server. And we've been working here along the East Farm Road. I think we're probably just going to pick up where I left off. Oh, all of my texture packs are not on. So there's that. That one. Yes. Guess that's right. Don't remember the order. That's better. Although, it's weird how it showed up on the map. It didn't do that before. Oh, there we go. Just needed a second to update. So, last time we finished up this little flower field, and the next thing we have to do is figure out what's happening along here. I honestly think it might be better to do the marshlands first, and then do what's in between. I often do that where if you've got some landscaping finished and you want to do what's next, sometimes if you know something that's going to happen in between, it's better to do what's in between. And then we can take this and extend it this way and whatnot. Okay. I think that's what we'll do. Apparently, Mojang had to change the texture of the crafter because it was too easy to make some offensive symbols. Okay. Well, that's fair. I guess you got to be careful with that kind of stuff. But like it had a bottom just like one of the chiseled tuff blocks. So the bottom could still be all iron, right? I guess leave it to the Minecraft, we shouldn't say the Minecraft community, but leave it to the internet community to, I mean, it's good that they know, I guess, but also like, really? Why'd you have to ruin everyone's fun? Oh, we have very little room in there. Guess we'll leave that like that for now. I'm just going to need grass, dirt probably, moss probably. Probably it. Maybe a couple buckets. Leave it to the trolls? Yeah, totally, right? The issue with that kind of logic is that I can make offensive symbols out of every block in Minecraft. Yeah, that's fair, right? Like if I wanted to, I could make something offensive out of grass, right? Unfortunately, I think with a company as large as Mojang and owned by Microsoft, I think they have little choice in the matter. Once that issue is known, I think they are basically they have to do something at that point, right? So I don't know exactly how this is going to go, but I do know I want to smooth this out a bit. Yeah, I think we'll just take this down one block at a time. Whoops. It's so weird switching immediately from creative back into survival. Keep on pressing the button to fly around, which I don't like, by the way. I get a little seasick. I get motion sick sometimes with creative. I think the other thing is that when I'm playing creative, I don't have all of the performance mods that help my screen stuff be smoother. And so I find in creative I get a little bit headachy from time to time. All right, here let's go down by a sharper descent. That brings us all the way down to here. I think that's pretty good. And I guess I have to think about how big I want this area to be. I think something like that would be good. I think we'll probably use this kind of as the base. Whoops. What do the trolls do in mini packs? Oh, just people making offensive symbols out of the new blocks and then forcing a texture change that no one seems to like. This is weird here. Okay. So that's our edge. I don't know whether to just make this whole thing moss and then come back and dig out the places that I want. That would be an interesting way to do it, actually. Out of curiosity, what would that look like? Because it'll be easier to see on the map. Or maybe it won't be easier to see on the map. We are going to bring this with us, I think. Do I have another one? No. Save us a little time. I guess I could move a lot down here, couldn't I? Let's go look at the new texture. Yeah, you joined just as the break happened. Yeah, I spent a good 45, 50 minutes on it. Oh yeah, you can't see that at all. Okay, so that's tricky. I guess I keep on thinking this is going to be a green marsh. I wonder if I should make it more muddy. I guess one easy way to do this would be to line it with coarse dirt so I can at least see the edge of it. That's probably what I need to do just for my own brain. And I didn't bring any coarse dirt. Let's go get a couple of things, actually. Moss, grass, dirt, coarse dirt, and that one. Do a little temporary setup down here. Could probably do with moving Rainbow Shulker Town. Maybe not the whole thing just yet, because I've got things to do back in between, but we'll see. Oh, forgot what I was doing. So the idea is that we're going to have holes like this, but I've got a funny feeling that they're going to be better if we did them in moss. The bottom won't matter, as long as it's grass. Actually, the bottom will turn to dirt, so I have to do that. So what we're going to do here is fill these little holes with water. And so I'd want them to be as green on all sides as possible. So I really feel like this whole place is going to end up looking just very mossy. Unless I decide to make it muddy. So the idea came from this natural pond that's here, but it's ugly. So we're going to remove it and just kind of like rescale it to be more of what I want. I guess I don't want it to be too perfect. Curve here is a little bit too perfect, maybe. think I muted that just in time. Good old seasonal changes. Hay fever. Or it could be just like the heating system in the building coming on and dust moving around. I'm going to leave a couple bits of water here because I want to perhaps save some of this sugarcane for use in this, maybe. I don't want to make it too big, but I want it to be big enough that it makes sense. Yeah, I don't want it any bigger than that. That's a little bit more natural looking. Yeah. It was looking a little bit too perfectly circular down here. It's not super large. This feels a little strange, so we might have to curve this out a little bit more. There's something really satisfying about just outlining something in Minecraft. I think because if you can do it with like an efficiency shovel and you don't have to stop moving, you really feel like you're placing things quite quickly. Yikes. More coarse dirt required. Let's grab 3 of those. So this will at least give us a look at what this should look like. So you can see the outline bit on the map here is going to be the lowest lying area. And I think it's probably going to be the easiest thing to do is just run around and clean out the whole bottom. And then randomly start spamming moss blocks back in. Unless, like I said, I'm going to end up doing it as like muddy. But I don't think that's going to work. I'm not sure which would look better. Does anybody else do this where you like clear off the perimeter first and then you go through and mine out the rest of the interior blocks? I do like it when your mining speed and your running speed are just right. Just the right combo. The race against time. I don't know whether the grass will end up growing down here or not. Probably. Right, so our options are, as I mentioned, to try and do like little pockets and then make different shapes. Try to be as random as possible. And then all of these would end up being filled in with water. And that's how it would look marshy. And then the other option would have, I guess, this stuff. I don't know if this is going to match very well, though. Well, that doesn't go, so no. I don't think this is good. That would really match. I don't know. That's tricky. It's going to take forever. It'll look cool, but it's going to take forever. Interesting how that didn't make a water source. So waterlogged mangrove roots do not act the way that you think they would. I know that they will waterlog, or they'll have something, they'll turn concrete powder, I think. And they'll allow coral to grow. Crap. I feel like it might be easier to carpet the whole thing in moss and then dig out the rest. All right, let's take a look and see what that looks like from up here. You know, as complicated as it might be cool to do a little bit of both. I don't know about the muddy mangrove roots, but the mangrove roots in themselves look pretty good. I don't think we can put stuff on top of those, though. Can do it on those. Whoops. You know, that's growing on me. What do we think, chat? What's the stuff in the dirt? You have to be a little bit more specific. You mean the pebbles? Just a texture pack. Yeah, which though, GrandpaCrafter? Which looks good? The green or the brown? Do we do both? I'm wondering if the green might look good around the edges, and then as we get into some of the deeper parts, we could make it look a little bit muddier. Mix will be more visually interesting than either one alone, yeah. I think we have to start with a blanket of the moss, and then we'll put the darker parts. Oh no. We're gonna run out of room. Do I even have... I don't know that I have room in the keep for more grass. I think one of these days there's going to have to be a stream where I just go fight the dragon and then go get some some shulker boxes. Stock up. Now that's broken too. Probably since I changed the texture pack to snapshot. Crap. Does that mean all the tables and chairs are now broken? I really wish that that data pack wasn't forcing my hand. Yeah, we're full. And check the farm, but chances are... Yeah, I think both is probably a good idea for the swamp. It's more work, but it looks cool. This is kind of a proof of concept as well. Good enough for now. So this little swamp here will be a test for the big swamp that I want to do over there, which is that whole area. So that will help, I think. Might just need a pack refresh. What do you mean? Like a texture pack? I know that this says it's not compatible, but it was working before. We had to refresh everything when I loaded up this, going back from the snapshot anyway. It could have been at the wrong order. That's right, Cosmic. That could be a 2. F3 plus T. Well, that would have just done it, so. Okay, so moss first. And then I need to go get more of that stuff. I think is over there. Do I have... No, I'm going to need more mud. Which I do have. It's just in a different box. Yeah, that didn't work. Are all of these screwed up now? Because some of them were working. I think I might just have to bite the bullet, update the data pack, hope that Axel never updates it again. Oh my gosh, yeah, this is all... that's so frustrating. One of the reasons why I never got into modded packs or data packs that change blocks is because of that. Is because the authors change things and then you're just... If you've got a long-term world, and you're just hosed. Went all the way downstairs and forgot the mud. One of these somewhere. The last update just turned things back on Infinity Cove, so it was annoying, but an easy fix. Yeah, I think Minipack said that you all flew around in creative and just replaced the tables and chairs. That's probably what I would do, because I am admin on the server, and I don't think it's worth the pain of going around in survival. So I think what we'll do is we'll just blanket the whole thing. Glad we went to go get extra moss, that's for sure. We'll obviously get about half of this moss back, if not more. That was prior to the one that actually broke them? Oh, really? So there's another update that happened? I know that Minecraft changes the version of the data pack, but that shouldn't change the functionality of it. And I'm on 1.20.1, remember? If we need to do the whole break replace thing, do you decide to update the tables and chairs data pack? Happy to help. Fine doing it in survival. Oh, thanks, Cosmic. I appreciate it. We could just make you admin for the time being. It's not like it's a big server. Honestly, I'd be okay with, I mean, almost anybody being admin on the server. I guess it depends on how technical people need to be. If people were like crunching data, because I think it's only Alistair and I right now. Right, so we'll do the edge as well. I guess I should probably just continue this through here. There's a cave down there. Okay, so does this look pretty good? Yeah, I'm okay with the bottom of it. I guess we'll just have to look and see what this top part is going to look like over here. And then, yeah, I guess this would all get filled in. And then we just have to contour this other part to kind of match what's happening down here. I actually ran out of grass. Surprising. So this all then just gets filled in. I know it doesn't matter. Like, I know you can just place down blocks on top of this, but I find it really distracting. I'm not sure why. Well, then there's that. Definitely having flashbacks from the modern city. Pretty floral living space, yeah. I think the I wish there was a better way. I guess I could switch to a mod pack. I was looking into different mod packs for furniture. One of which was going to be something we could use in the modern city as well. But I never did really get there. So I don't want to landscape the entire countryside here, but just want to make this look at least not like Minecraft glitchy. Probably going to fill that in too. Not bad. It's a little straight. All right, that's not bad. Now we just have to maybe connect a little bit through here. I think the problem with some of the furniture mods is just they add so much, like so much, way more than what you'd think they were actually looking for, says Cosmic. Yeah, no, I know that. And that's fine, I guess. We can just, you know, that's because it's such a small server, we could add a furniture mod and be like, look, the intention is to use it for these things, not like all the different tiny things that's in it. It's hard because of the spawn chunks. Like I would prefer to play on a vanilla-esque server at the very least. See, that's a very straight line too. Whoops. Should have started that farther back. This pig is going to get a shovel in the head if he's not careful. You can sort of see what I was doing. Just kind of smoothing that out a little bit. And then we can fill in this part back here. Usually you just kind of grab your contours and fill in the blanks when you're done. Swamp pink. Swamp pig, yeah. That's fair. And then anything left up here, we can just hopefully just hit with some bone meal. And now that we've got that little technique for building a flower field quite quickly, I feel like I want to use that. Because you could use that for anything, right? Go around, spam bone meal, and then keep the grass where it is, but then replace all your flowers with insert whatever it is that you want here. Like you could use it to plant your own forest. You could use it to plant dead bushes. You could use it to plant azalea bushes. Like you could do all kinds of stuff and just use the Minecraft generation algorithm for flowers to kind of like give you that randomness. All right, so now we just have to smooth this out a little bit. So I think the only thing I'll change here is I'll probably push this back just a little bit more. You can see how they kind of all come into a point. And it kind of fans out from the steepest area. And so once that's covered in grass and stuff, I think it'll look okay. So that gets our landscaping, or at least the contours, done up to here. I think I just have to take a look at what's happening over there. And mostly it's pretty good. Oh, I've got to fill in that pond too, don't I? Swamp bacon is probably not the best. Is that a movie reference? I'm gonna have to sleep here in a minute anyway. Yeah, I think we might. I don't know if I'm gonna cover up the cave entrance. I might leave that. But we'll fill in that pond. And then really it's just this section right there. Is it a little wonky? The cave might end up getting filled. These are the kind of things where, like, I have an idea in my head, but having never done it before, it's hard to really have a plan other than just like sort of following suit with how you've done some things before. Stuff like this reminds me of really early Minecraft when you have an area that you want to settle in, your block palette is limited and it's just easier to fill everything in, get a flat surface. So you're filling in like what look like creeper hole craters that are filled with water. I mean, the good news is we've got more grass blocks that I know what to do with, so filling in extra stuff is not a bad thing. It's a little on the perfect side. I keep on making these really smooth arcs. I don't mean to. That's what I mean by when you're trying to do something organic and then as a human, you just end up making a pattern. Cosmic tease me about being perfect. Perfectionist. There's a difference. There's a difference. Well, at least we're making some room in our shulker box. It's funny when you look at something like, oh, just a small water hole, and you realize just how many blocks it takes to fill it in. I always think about that when I'm doing like a floor. And if it's a large floor and you only grab a couple of stacks, you got to remember that like an 8x8 block area is a whole stack. So if you've got a 10x20 floor, like you've got several stacks of material, right? Just you don't necessarily think about it right away. I'm going to leave the cave dark so that any mobs that are going to spawn nearby us will hopefully spawn underground and we don't have to worry about it. More break when you're ready, says Cosmic. Thanks very much. Cool. So I think we can just smooth out this top part when I get back, and that will, I think, take care of the immediate sort of view. The main concern or the main goal here is to have basically what you can see that renders in decently from the bridge. So I would say like right about there is kind of where I'm stopping at my touching the landscape. So changing that to something a little bit nicer. This is the kind of thing where we're just going to cover it in grass and bone meal it, and it should be fine. But you can sort of see what I'm going for with this low-lying marsh area, and it's going to empty out this way. So we won't be able to finish the whole thing today, but I think I can get a good chunk of it done. Anyway, we are going to fly back somewhere that's got a roof, hang out AFK for 5 or 6 minutes, as I normally do every hour. If you're new to the stream, it's a good opportunity to go grab a stretch, grab a friend, let them know that we're streaming, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. All right. So we just have a little bit of landscaping to do along the east edge here. And then this part, I guess we can just defill like that. I think I'm going to take this back a bit. And then this, I guess we'll just give it a bottom. That makes sense. Three, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, I might have made it a little bit perfect. Jeez. Trying to make it look organic and natural, it just ends up being all these perfect curves. It's all right. We can fix that later. And you're probably not going to be able to see it from the road, which is really what I'm worried about. Yeah, and definitely a mental note for the future, an entire stream of looking at the ground and doing all this grass placing, kind of hard on the eyes. Something that I noticed from the snapshot was that I have a mod that removes the view bob of the character. Your hand still goes up and down, but the camera doesn't go up and down. And it's a way more pleasant experience. And I noticed that without it, even in the flying around part in creative, in the snapshot world, that I felt kind of visually overwhelmed by what was going on. It could be the fact that I play on a 27-inch monitor too. I am looking forward to perhaps updating my monitors come this Black Friday. Because usually those kinds of things go on sale. And then up here, we'll just make this look better. All right, I think that's pretty good. Still feels kind of steep and square here. I guess the only thing would be to push this back a little bit more. Unfortunately, it's kind of noisy over here. That's a little bit better. And then maybe we can push this back. And then this just has to get pushed back a bit too. It's hard until it all grows back into grass to really get a good look at it. But I think we can now fill in all of this. Whoops. I think a moss block breaks faster with your hand than anything else. Oops. Some days your aim is off and some days it's on. Today it's off a bit. Yeah, I know a hoe is faster, but I don't carry a hoe around with me all the time. All right, next step is obviously going to be taking these out. I don't want to go too far. Ran out of moss. Man, we might have to go back for more moss. I guess we're going to get a lot of it back when we start punching holes in it, but still, I don't know if we'll get quite as much of it back as I want. I have to say though, for just a short stream, because of course we spent the first hour in the snapshot, I feel like a couple hours here and we've got a fair bit done. Like how the area looks on the map with the moss blocks. Definitely reads as a swamp. Yeah, it has like a little bit of a darker greeny tint to it on the map. Not that the map is the be all end all, but I do find it kind of helps with me, like for my planning, my headcanon. Sometimes the map does things that you don't really get in world, but it feels synthetic almost. Weird. It's funny how this to Minecraft players just feels like grass, but then this feels like carpet. I don't know why. It has more of a tessellation. Like you can see lines on the moss block, whereas you can't see lines. Right? You can see rows. Does it go both ways? Yeah, it does. It does go both ways. That would be a texture change that I would make, would just be to make the moss block seamless, you know? I think that would be a reasonable change. Okay, so now I think we replace a lot of this with moss for now. Oh, right. I guess the other way to do this would have been to flood the whole thing and then put in what would be the islands, right? That could have been I'm not sure whether that would have been faster or not. I gotta remind myself what happens when you bone meal moss too. I know you get the little trees, all that stuff. Yeah, it definitely misses something when you don't have the dark stuff. So where... I don't know where the dark would go. Would you make the dark in the deeper areas in the middle, or would the dark stuff be a little more along the edges? I feel like we could probably do some dark at the back. Makes sense. Oh, those are directional. Remember that. I'm really glad you don't need silk touch for those. This is where it just gets really weird and random. Try to do this in a way that just looks organic. Oops. Yeah, it's one of those tasks that I think is going to take a long time no matter what. So you can sort of see where a muddy patch might look good back there. Maybe we'll do another small one up here. I never thought I should be using some mud in here too, I guess. I think the thing to do is maybe approach it with the water first, and then do the other stuff second. But yeah, this is a lot more time consuming than I thought it was going to be. For sure. What I should do is go get a lot more buckets. Probably go a lot faster. I'll have to remember that for next time. Yeah, mangrove roots have a really unique relationship with water. They don't waterlog, they don't create water sources, but you can use them to like have concrete powder change shape. I think you can use them. I think you can use them for dripstone. Well, oh yeah, when I do a bigger one of these, I might not make it quite the same. I think that's going to make sense. I think the darker parts along the edge are going to make sense, and then we can come back in with like azalea with moss carpet. Didn't bring any bone meal, but you'll get the idea. I think flooding first and placing blocks would be faster, Elkhorn. I think you're right. I might try that. Like I might take half of it and just kind of see how that goes. I think it's probably faster. I think the problem was that I couldn't decide what I wanted to do. So here we can do things like put grass wherever there's a spot where grass will grow. It doesn't have to be all grass, right? But then in here, same idea. Then we could also have bits like this. So it'll take some layers, but I think once we get the layers in there, yeah, you get the rooty stuff, you get the dark blue, and then you get the overgrowth. Like if you imagine that, like here, hold on. Good time, raining. Good time. Like when that takes up most of your view, it looks pretty swampy. Right? Like that's pretty swampy, I think. I mean, it might be worth to do the whole thing. And maybe the green that we add is actually going to be all the stuff on top, and maybe the moss really isn't a good solution. Let's get some water. And we'll try that quickly. See if it's faster to waterlog it. This should just fill in. Which makes me feel less sick. Oh man, yeah, zooming in like that is not fun. Yeah, if I take screenshots at usually at 55, that's where I like to take my screenshots, because it's actually very similar to what like the focal length of the human eye, and I find that the screenshots look more natural. It looks less like a video game and more like a model. But if I forget to change that and then I pop in to do something quick in between streams, I'm just like, what is going on? Why is my brain feeling so strange? I think this is way faster. So we just use one block to kind of stick it all together. I'm trying not to pay too close of attention to what's happening. I'm just kind of going with the flow. Yeah, I feel like if we go with muddy mangrove roots all the way around, and then we can go back in and add some different textures. Yeah, good call, Elkhorn. I think that would be the way to do it. For anybody that wants to build a swamp, I would say flood it. Flood it first. Obviously it looks very funny with straight edges. But then once you've got that texture in, you can go in and start replacing some of these things. And because of the way that the water works, they should in some cases waterlog. Oh, I guess here you're going to want to use a shovel. Yeah, I think that starts to come together pretty quick. Oops. And then sometimes you mess up. Easier to fill in your mistakes too. Whoops. So with every pass, you know, you kind of, just like everything else, you know, you pick your base block, you start to pass in the other stuff, and then you can go in with maybe some of the darker stuff. Don't really have much for logic here. I'm just kind of picking what I think works, trying to space things out a bit. The fact that it's raining in game is actually good in this particular case. Yeah, I mean, that's going well. And then it's just a matter of, do we know what happens when you bone meal mud? I don't think I know. Nothing. That's fair. But I think as a proof of concept, it's pretty good. I guess if you go too overboard with the mangrove roots instead of the muddy mangrove roots, then you're not going to have a lot of places to place things. But then again, I guess you could put your azalea bushes on the mangrove roots too. And then you can use the waterlogged bushes at the same time as well. Thank you, Cosmic. Appreciate that. Yeah, I might have even gone a little bit overboard. We could maybe even come in here and get rid of a couple things. Oh man, this would be imagine if this was like a bunch of terrain you had to travel, like, you know, thousands of blocks of this. This would be hard because you sink into the mud and then you pop back up on the other blocks and you sink into the water if you don't jump. Yeah, so again, it looks really funny because of course we've given ourselves a straight line, but I think this is actually going to be less moss than I thought. So waterlogging, or flooding, I should say, the whole place first seems like a good go. One thing we could try is seeing what a few bits of grass look like here. More moss. Yeah, I think there's probably going to need to be a combo. So we'll do that combo first, I think. We'll do this kind of a thing, but we'll do it with mud and mangrove, just like we did a few minutes ago. And then I'll sprinkle in the odd little bit of moss, and I'll try not to bone meal it because obviously that causes some problems. But so like place like here, you might want to get rid of that, right? And just start to speckle the odd little bit. So like maybe leave that one, but then have mangrove blocks elsewhere. I'm gonna remember where I keep these little patches that have 3 together. Create the water source. Yeah, I think this has some promise. It's gonna take a long time. Did I grow a skeleton? Yeah, there's a cave underneath there. Over there somewhere. Yep. Okay, so I think I have a decent plan. It does look a little bit funky now, but once we get the whole thing converted, and it'll be easy. I think what we'll do is we'll just take out all the moss and fill in all the water, and then start doing what we did in that section there. But I think that looks pretty good. We line ourselves up with it. Yeah, I feel like that feels pretty swampy, or marshy. Maybe marshy is the better term. I want to make a marsh, not necessarily a swamp. I feel like there's a distinct difference. I'm not educated enough in nature to know what exactly would define one versus the other, but we have a lot of marshlands around here where I live. Swamps, I feel like, are Florida, you know, more southern kind of thing. It could just be like a latitude thing. It could be like, you know, higher latitude swamps are essentially called marshes because of the climate, maybe. Maybe swamps are only in places that don't get winter. That would make sense. Anyway, that's all for me today, folks. I am actually going to send you along to one of my patron server members. Hunter555 is streaming today, so I'm going to send you along there. Hope you're enjoying the rest of your Minecraft day. I will be back again tomorrow, regular time, 1 o'clock Atlantic, UTC minus 3 hours. We will be picking up where we left off here in the Marsh along the East Farm Road as we slowly finish up this area on the east side of town. And then I think we're going to move to the north. So there's still lots to do, but we're making progress. So things are going well. If you want, you can check out this VOD later on Joel Duggan VODs. We only have about 45 more subs until I'm at 1,000 subs on that channel. So if you're watching this later on Twitch, or if you want to tell a couple of friends to go sub, it's free on YouTube. You'll get notifications when I post. I post them 24 hours after they're up on Twitch. Probably a better viewing experience on YouTube, but I'm trying to grow my audience and all that kind of good stuff. So you can find everything there, including things like the Lego Let's Chats. We'll be streaming Lego on Friday again this week, so you can tune in for that. And don't forget to check out the podcasts, of course. That's the Spawn Chunks at thespawnchunks.com and the Citadel Cafe at thecitadelcafe.com. I will be recording a new Citadel Cafe next week, and of course a new snapshot talk on Monday with Pixel Riffs with the Spawn Chunks. A new episode of the Spawn Chunks just came out on Monday. We talked about our first impressions of the crafter block, so check that out. Last but not least, Patreon is the best way to support my streaming work. If you'd like to become a member, check out patreon.com/JoelDuggan. I'm working on new perks that'll be coming into play there. Currently, you get access to the Discord for less than the price of a cup of coffee a month, and it renews automatically. You don't have to do it manually. You can just join and then support and set it and forget it, as they say. And I am very appreciative of everyone that supports my work. It's the reason I get to do it. You all are fantastic. Cosmic and Sandy, thank you for moderating today, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye for now.